بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي، يا أبا عبد الله. يا ابن رسول الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة، ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة، يا غريب، يا مظلوم كربلاء. سيدي يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. It was not a day witnessed by your eyes, by your eyes. Millions witness your day, Ya Aba Abdullah. Millions witness your day. O Master, hear the cries, hear their cries. Hussein, Ya Hussein, you are not alone. Your pain millions will share. O Imam, millions witness your day, so hear their cries, hear their cries, hear their cries. Raise your voices and let the Imam in Karbala hear you calling him. Hussein, Ya Hussein, Hussein, Ya. This is not a call of a lover. Hussein, Ya Allah, Hussein. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم لما عرج بي إلى السماء رأيت مكتوبا على ساق العرش إن الحسين مصباح هدى وسفين نجاة. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten and to quicken the reappearance of our awaited Imam and Saviour Al-Imam Al-Mahdi with a loud salawat. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us to participate in Aza and to uphold the sha'air of Imam Hussain, the signs of Imam Hussain, in the shrine of Imam Hussain with the second louder salawat. For the safety of all Khuddam al-Hussain, servants of Imam Hussain, especially the ulama, the maraja, who honorably sacrificed their life and their time for the sake of Imam Hussain, especially the grand servant of Islam, Grand Ayatollah al-Uzma, Al-Sayyid Al-Sadiq Al-Hussaini Al-Shirazi, and for all servants of Imam Hussain, visitors of Imam Hussain, a third louder salawat. The Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, says, when I was taken to the skies, لما عرج بي إلى السماء, the Archangel Jibreel accompanied the Holy Prophet all the way until they reached Sidratul Muntaha, a level where Archangel Jibreel and none other, the master of the angels, Jibreel, will not be able to go forward any other space and any other. It is mentioned in the riwayah, قَيْدَ أُنْمُلَةٍ, just a little bit more, a centimeter more, a millimeter more, I will never be able to pass with you, O Prophet of Allah. You have to continue your journey alone. The Prophet says, I ascended towards the skies until I reached the Arsh, an area associated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not in terms of physical space and area, but there is an area, a place called the throne, Al-Arsh, where there are malaikah whose responsibility it is to carry a certain object. Now this object might be a physical object, or it might be written in the riwayat and called the Arsh, but it might be some knowledge, it might be a specific light or nur. We do not know, but what we know is that the Prophet says, رَأَيْتُ مَكْتُوبًا, on one of the sides of this throne, of this Arsh, رَأَيْتُ مَكْتُوبًا, verily Hussain is what? Verily Hussain is the lantern of guidance. إن الحسين مصباح هدى وسفين نجاة, and in other narrations it is narrated وسفينة نجاة, and the ship of salvation. Now keep this riwayah and this occurrence in your minds. We will come back to it. Yesterday we started our majlis. We started the series of our lectures with an introduction, and we said, why do we come attend the majalis of Abi Abdullah al-Hussain year after year, occasion after occasion, and listen to lectures, mourn, cry, shed tears, participate in lamentations, in aza, for the same person, for the same reason? Why? I'm sure you keep asking yourself. It is the same Imam. He was martyred the same way. When I go to school, when I go to college, when I go to university, and I study history, I study science, I study maths, I study English, I don't study the same subject year after year, year after year. I continue, I elevate, I go to the next level. But why in the school of Ahl al-Bayt, in Islam in general, the only occasion that is so highly regarded and respected, and it is repeated year after year, and it has been ever since Imam Hussain was martyred on the day of Ashura, as we said, in the year 61 AH, in the land of Karbala in Iraq, and his family were taken as captives from Karbala, some of them on barefoot in some of the paths that they had to go through from Karbala to Sham. Why? What is the reason behind me coming and attending a majlis, listening to a lecturer speaking about Imam Hussain? And we said yesterday, the aim and the objective of us attending majalis of Imam Hussain is to elevate ourselves. Imam Hussain does not need my cries. Abi Abdullah al-Hussain will not benefit from me wearing black or not wearing black. Imam Hussein's position is well known. Whether he went to Karbala or did not go to Karbala, Imam Hussein's position was well known. But we as mankind, regardless of being a Muslim, regardless of being a Christian, regardless of following Judaism, Sikhism, Hinduism, or being atheist, we owe it to Imam Hussain alayhi salam. You might think, I am a Muslim, okay, it is fine. I believe that I should be attending majalis of Imam Hussain because he was the grandson of the Prophet of Islam. But why should a Christian come to a majlis? Why should a young man who is Jewish listen to the majalis of Imam Hussain? Why should I speak to my atheist friend and invite him to come to the majalis of Imam Hussain? Surely we do have friends at school or at home who are our neighbors or in the community where they do not follow Ahl al-Bayt, where they do not believe in Islam. They follow other religions, other faiths, other sects. It is us, the mankind, the human beings. We need Ahl al-Bayt. If it was not for Ahl al-Bayt, God knows where we would have been, where we would have ended up. How? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, when he says something, he is the essence of righteousness. وَمَا يَنطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ وَحْيٌ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Everything the Prophet says, everything the Prophet thinks about, everything the Prophet does, his actions, his behavior, is supported by the skies, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when he says, when I went to the skies, I read on the throne. Now on the throne, it is the most important part of the creation, of the universe, of the existence, let's say. Why did the Holy Prophet not say, I read, for example, something about myself? Because he is the best of Allah's creations on this earth. Why was something not written about, why did the Prophet not narrate to us other things? Surely there are other things written on the arsh. But why did the Prophet concentrate on this particular narration? Verily, Hussein is the lantern of guidance and the ship of salvation. Because if it was not, and we keep repeating this statement, if it wasn't for Imam Hussein's sacrifice, we as human beings living on the face of this earth for this short period of time, we would have been living in a different condition. Now you might ask me, what condition would I have been living in? I would tell you. Today, do you not see individuals worshipping animals? Now go on the internet, go on YouTube, and write those who worship rats. Rats. Or those who worship insects. Or those who worship a specific animal. I don't want to mention this on the Mimbar of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, but it is very clear. Today, me, my children, my family, we would have been worshipping fire. We would have been worshipping the sun. Now you try and imagine how life would have been. You wake up in the morning, you face the sun and you go like this, for example. Or if the skies were cloudy, you wouldn't have been able to worship your God that day. This is how it is. But what is so important that we have to recognize the importance of the sacrifice of Imam al-Hussein. لِمَاذَا قُتِلَ الْحُسَيْنِ? Why did Imam Hussein sacrifice his life? It is mentioned in Ziyaratul Arba'in. Let's see what is written in Ziyaratul Arba'in. I have written it here, and please, brothers and sisters, as I mentioned yesterday, note these points down and go back to them, because these are important points which will definitely be as points of guidance in your life. If not now, tomorrow. One day you will need to forward this amana, this package that you have received from the holy hands of your parents who have been given this amana, this important and precious gift from their parents. You will have to give it to your children, and your children will eventually need to pass it on until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides that it's time for the awaited Saviour to come back. And you will be rewarded on the Day of Judgment. In the ziyarah of Arba'in, one part of the ziyarah, it is mentioned, it is describing Imam al-Hussein. It says, who? Imam Hussein. وَبَذَلَ مُهْجَتَهُ فِيكَ لِيَسْتَنْقِذَ عِبَادَكَ. Oh Allah, this Hussein, this master of the martyrs, he gave away his life and his existence for what? For you and me. An imam, an infallible imam, was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from before he created mankind. He sacrificed his life for me. Yes. وتزعم أنك جرم صغير وفيك انطوى العالم الأكبر. You think you are little, you belittle yourself, but you are the best of Allah's creations amongst the animals and the plants and the solids. Imam Hussein loved to sacrifice himself for the sake of mankind and humanity. Now let us come and know this Hussein. Because by knowing Imam Hussein, I, the young man, or the young lady, my sister, my wife, my partner in the community, we will be elevating ourselves. What does it mean? It means when you elevate yourself, your soul, you are upgrading your mind mentally. When you go to the shop and you tell the person behind the counter, I would like to upgrade my cell phone, my mobile phone. They take the old one, or they tell you can keep the old one, we will give you a new one, a better one, an upgraded version, which has got more abilities. You can do more things with it. There are more services to it. Now, by following Amir al-Mu'mineen and by following Lady Fatima al-Zahra, Imam Hussain, Ahlul Bayt, until the Imam of our time, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif, you are making sure you are always going on the right path of Ahlul Bayt, which will eventually make you a successful person in this life, and also you will win your position in the paradise. وبذل مهجته فيك ليستنقذ عبادك من الجهالة وحيرة الضلالة. Here 2 points are raised. Ignorance. Imam Hussain sacrificed himself, his sons, his brother's sons, his nephews, his companions, his brother. He caused for himself to be killed by going to Karbala, and the enemies attacked him. They burnt his tents. His family was taken as captives, just for me and you to leave the area of Jahala and Dalala. Ignorance, unawareness, blindness. Do we not see people around us who are not physically blind, but they are blind? They cannot see where they are going. You ask him, what is your aim in life? He tells you, I want to become a footballer. Is that it? A footballist? What's next? He becomes a footballer. He goes and plays football. He has an accident. They tell him, you are not able to play football anymore, practice football. You have to go and sit down at home. Is that it? You just get the money to be transferred into your bank account and your family is happy and that's it? But we see in front of us that money and wealth these days does not bring you happiness. What brings you happiness is the fact that you mentally are satisfied. If you mentally and inside you emotionally, if you are happy, then you will be satisfied even if you have to eat dry bread and cheese. How many millionaires, how many businessmen and women do we see around us in the world, in the media, in the news, every day? We see pop stars, actors, wherever they are, in Hollywood, in India, in Pakistan, everywhere. They have problems. After getting married, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, they get divorced. Are they not successful individuals? Do they not have an aim in their life? Why are they not living successfully? Why are they not living successfully? Because they do not have the peace of mind. Imam Hussain salamullahi alayhi gives you the peace of mind, upgrades you mentally. If you follow Imam Hussain, you are learning in the school of Ahl al-Bayt alayhim as-salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. ليستنقذ عبادك من الجهالة وحيرة الضلالة. Imam Hussain wants you to leave ignorance. Imam Hussain wants you to leave deviation. He wants you to walk on the right path. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. The right path, the straight path. صراط من؟ صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Now, who are those people, O Allah, who you have mentioned in the Surah Al-Fatiha? أنعمت عليهم. You have brought down your blessings. And they are هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. النعمة, the blessing I mentioned quickly yesterday. اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت. Here is ni'mah, here is ni'mah. Ni'mah was brought down upon the Muslims on the day of Ghadir. ليستنقذ عبادك من الجهالة وحيرة الضلال. That's it. Now you want to know why you keep coming to the majalis of Imam Hussain year after year? You want to know why the Holy Prophet of Islam promised Lady Fatima, after narrating to her what is going to happen to Imam Hussain before the birth of Imam Hussain, "Oh Fatima, your son will be killed, he will be beheaded. This will happen to him, his family will be taken captives." Lady Fatima started crying. "Aba ufja'u fi waladi?" Rasulullah said, "Yes, you have to keep patient." Okay, again, after the death of my son, who is going to cry and mourn for my son? This is the Prophet of who? Prophet of Islam. This is the promise of who? This is the promise of Prophet of Allah. He is promising his daughter, Abiha, Fatima al-Zahra. "Oh Fatima, do not worry. There will be people, Allah will create followers for your son who will weep and cry and remember the sacrifice of your son Hussein." Is this not a ni'mah to be associated with the Holy Prophet and Fatima al-Zahra and Abi Abdullah al-Hussein? If you sit day and night and try to sit and write down the amount of blessings, that's only for following Imam Hussain, only for saying Hussein. Okay? You will not be able to recognize the amount of blessings you receive, and you would have been given by Imam Hussain alayhi salam for shedding a single drop of tear for the sake of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The Holy Prophet says this drop of tear will be collected in a jar, in a small vase, kept next to Fatima al-Zahra. On the day of judgment, when you come and you stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it is time for them to come and see your checklist, they open your book. What have you done? What have you not done? At the end, you will be looking left and right. Who is there to help me, to give me a push towards the paradise? Lady Fatima says, "Hold on, do not take him away. He is an individual who cried for my son Hussein." "Oh Fatima, how?" She says, she brings out the vase which they have collected your tears in them. Now you might tell me, Sayyidina, I'm a Muslim. I pray, I fast, I regularly attend the masjid, the mosque. But this is an event which happened 1,400 years ago. What does it have to do with me in 2013? How is it going to physically help me? How is it going to help me in my studies? How is it going to help me in my daily life? How is it going to help me in my university, in my coursework, in my daily routines? If I am ill, how is it going to help me? If I need help, how is it going to help me? I will tell you. Imam Hussain salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi did not sacrifice himself for something in the thin air. There is something physical we can obtain from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Do you not read Hadith al-Kisa? Hadith al-Kisa, a narration narrated by the Archangel Jibreel by Fatima al-Zahra salamullahi alayha. In that hadith it is mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, our Shia, the Shia of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, if they gather in a majlis and they mention and they remember these 5 individuals, ما ذكر خبرنا في مجلس أو محفل من محافل أهل الأرض إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة. Now you might say, Sayyidina, this is something to do with the philosophical side, with the mental side, with the world after this world, behind this world. We cannot see, I cannot physically touch it. I will tell you, yes, you can. But you have to believe in it. I mentioned the doctor yesterday that in his medicine he used to place some soil of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. He is alive, he is in Pakistan. You can investigate. Now, the same medicine is being sold by other governments, other companies all over the world. He says, I give the same medicine, but the fact that I place some turba of Imam Hussain alayhi salam in this medicine, I have received 100% result as of these medicines. This is one point of it. You take turba of Imam Hussain with belief, with wudu, with the dua that is mentioned in Mafatih al-Jinan. You recite it with wholeheartedly. Go and give it to a patient. But you have to believe in it. Give it to him and wait. Be patient. Ahlul Bayt, they will come. It is the mention of Imam Hussain. It is Karbala that the enemies of Islam are afraid of. That's why we, the Shia of Ahlul Bayt, we Muslims, we mankind, we have to come and understand Hussain to be able to live prosperously in life. Imam Hussain is the Imam of mankind. The message of Imam Hussain is a universal message, as the message of his grandfather, the Holy Prophet of Islam. I have many examples, but I will only mention 3. 3 political leaders who lived not long ago. The first, Stalin. The second, Napoleon. And the third, Hitler. And I will move on, conclude my majlis. An uprising occurred in the Chechen. In the Chechen, the Muslims at that time rebelled against Stalin. They investigated, they found out that these are Muslims. Stalin has this famous saying. He said to his generals, he said to them, if you want to be victorious over these group of people, you need to do one thing. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You need to kill Ashura. You need to destroy Karbala. Because as long as Karbala lives, it will continue producing men who will always stand up against tyranny. This is Stalin. Stalin was a dictator in the Soviet Union, in Russia. He was a dictator who did not want people living outside his rule. He wanted to be in control of everything. أنا ربكم الأعلى. You listen to me, you obey me. You kiss my hands and feet. And I decide if you can breathe or not. I decide if you can live or die. The second, Napoleon. Napoleon had 4 brothers. He was involved in many battles and wars. He was conquering here and there. One of his brothers had enough. He wanted to go back home. In one of the battles, his brother came to him. He said, "Oh brother, I want to go back." He was a general. "I don't want to participate in any other battles." Napoleon, do you know what he said to him? He said to him, "I believed in you. I thought you was going to remain next to me as the brother of Hussein remained next to him until the last moments." Napoleon speaking about Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, yes. Do not think that your enemies, those who attack Islam, attack the message of Ahl al-Bayt, attack Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, attack the sha'air of Imam Hussain, they are ignorant. They are not. They perfectly know what they are doing. He told them, "I thought you are going to stay next to me like the brother of Hussein." This is Napoleon. And lastly, Hitler. Hitler said to his army in one of the speeches, he said to them, "You need to look at the companions and the groups of people who are rotating around Hussein, because their leader, their commander was able to threaten an established empire and entity, and with his death he was able to become victorious." This is Hitler saying to who? To his army. And you know what Hitler did to the world? They all, if not learning from Hussein, they take lessons from Hussein. So why do I have to go far? I can reach salvation from the doorsteps of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. That's why Imam Hussain rose against tyranny. He decided, that's it, it's enough. Yazid was going to demolish Islam. There was nothing going to be left of Islam. So that's why he decided to leave Medina and go towards Mecca and eventually towards Iraq. He ordered his companions and his family to start packing up your belongings. We are leaving. He came for the final time. He wanted to visit the grave of his grandfather and his mother Fatima al-Zahra and his brother Al-Imam al-Hassan. He came all alone in the middle of the night, came next to the grave of the Holy Prophet of Islam. He started reading the ziyarah, speaking to his grandfather. He started saying, "Oh grandfather, I have had enough. Why don't you take me next to you? Take me next to you. I don't want to live in this life. Oh grandfather, oh Prophet of Islam, after you left, there is no other meaning to this life." So he fell asleep. He saw his grandfather in the alam al-ru'ya, in the dream. He started speaking to his grandfather. He said to him, "ضمني عندك يا جداه في هذا الضريح علني يا جد من بلوى زماني أستريح." Oh grandfather, Jaddah, Ya Rasulullah, I cannot live in this life anymore. خذني عندك يا جداه. Do you know what the Holy Prophet of Islam replied back? He said to him, "Oh son Hussein, there is a position you will never be able to reach. That position, if it was not for you dying and becoming a martyr in Karbala, ya ولدي حسين ستذوق الموت ظلما ظامئا في كربلاء وستبقى في ثرى عاريا منجدلا." The Holy Prophet narrates to him what's going to happen to him. "Oh son Hussein, you are going to be killed in Karbala. They are going to prevent you from water. What else, oh grandfather? وكأني بلئيم الأصل شمر قد علا يا أبا عبد الله صدرك الطاهر بالسيف يحز الودجين." He woke up, he came to his mother Fatima. "Umma Fatima, oh mother Fatima, this is your beloved son Hussein. I am leaving. I will never be able to visit your grave anymore, mother. But when will I see you? Oh mother Fatima, I will meet you in the paradise. I will meet you when I meet my grandfather and father Amir al-Mu'mineen." لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam Ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-Sharif. We recite Surah Al-Fatiha for the amwat, for the mu'mineen and mu'minat, ببركة الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.